Hey, hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, teacher.
Yeah,
Good evening, teacher.
everyone. So the event is about to start. We're going to start at 6 and let's welcome our guest speaker, Mrs. Sreylin, right?
Yes.
All right. Hello, beautiful guest speaker. Okay, today we have such a beautiful guest speaker, and Sreylin, you're joining our Zoom from USA, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
What time is it there?
It's about 7. The same time. It's 11 hour. No. 11 hour behind.
It might be
yeah.
23, 11.
Yeah,
Here,
11 hour
right here
behind.
it's like 6 p.m. here.
Yeah, so it's 7 a.m. here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're behind you guys.
Sorry. So how are you doing there?
It's a bit early and chilly, but I'm doing okay. Yeah.
It's winter, right?
Yeah, indeed.
It should be very cool. All right, so everybody, this is BiWeekly ESL talk from the ANGKOR Intellectual Academy. So welcome everyone. So this is the 6th week, yeah. This is the 6th week of our ESL talk, BiWeekly ESL talk that we have been conducting it since what, September or August? I'm not sure, but actually this is the 6th week that we made it happen. And as we promised that the participant that joined for 6 week will receive the certificates from us as well. Okay, so let me introduce a little bit of our program. So this is BiWeekly ESL talk that we made it because we want encourage and motivate the student to expose to the environment of speaking English and learning English. And this event or this program, we invite the guest speaker all around the world. Yeah, we had the guest speaker from USA, from Thailand, and also in our country. Yes, and we're going to, we keep inviting them more and more for the next season. So this is the last week of the first season. Yes. Okay, so first I would like to introduce our agenda a little bit. Yeah. So this event we start from 5:50. At 5:50 it is the registration. At 6 it is the opening and agenda announcement by me. Yes, my name is Nobot. I am a deputy school director from the ANGKOR Intellectual Academy based in Kampong Chang province. And at 6:10 we going to have Mrs. Sreylin as our guest speaker today. She's going to share us a topic, pathway to international scholarship winners. Okay, and then she's going to give you a presentation around 40 minutes. And after that, at 6:50, we're going to have question and answer session as well. That the participant can like comment the question and then the guest speaker will answer that afterward. And at 6:55, we're going to provide or hand a certification of application to Mrs. Sreylin as well. And then we're going to close our event at 7 o'clock. Okay. So now let's welcome our guest speaker a little bit. You can clap or you can give the speaker to the screen. Yeah, you have the speaker like the clapping hand, right? Yes, let's welcome her. And I also want to introduce her a little bit. She is Mrs. Sreylin. Yeah, right now she's in USA or the United States, right? And she's a senior at Davidson College She's majoring in economics, minoring in data science. She's studying in Carolina, USA, and she also a 5 years scholar at United World College of Southeast Asia in Singapore. Hey, that is amazing. That it is really great to have her in sharing her knowledge today with us, and she also share her experience as well. Okay, so next, are you ready, Sreylin?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to share the presentation slide with us or not?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the share screen.
Okay, you can share that right now.
Okay.
And everyone, let me remind you that after this session, you're going to write a reflection paper. And for the student, you're going to submit it to your teacher. And for the participant from, non-AIA student, you can hand it over to me. Okay. Thank you. So, yes, let's welcome Ms. Sreylin. And the topic today is Pathway to International Scholarship Winner. Yes. If you're ready, you can start. Thank you.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen? It should say pathways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. So hi everyone. Thank you for having me today. It's pretty early. Hopefully you can still hear me. So my name is Sreylin. I am currently in the US. I'm studying at Davidson College in North Carolina. Then very excited and honored to be here today, and I hope that you would take something useful and meaningful from this event. Sorry. Do you see the next slide now? Can you see the next slide?
Not yet. You see the first line?
That's weird. Sorry. I'm not used to. Okay, it should come up now. Yeah.
Not yet. You still seeing the first line? Okay. That's it.
Okay, sorry. Yes, it's a timing. Zoom a bit slow. So I grew up in Cambodia. I gone through a lot of school. My mom would always send me to this different schools just so I don't have free time doing nothing. And I think it was a very valuable experience. I learned a lot from that, just to keep being proactive. And by the age of 12, my brother has gone to the school called New Day Cambodia. So my cousins were also there, and they were speaking fluent English. I mean, it appeared to me then. And I was nowhere close to being at their proficiency. So I was very jealous of my brother, and it was actually me who was supposed to have gone there first. But I was so scared of being away from home and having to do all of this medical tests, so I refused to go. And that, but seeing how my brother has gone to the stage of being so fluent in English, I was like, I have to go. And so I actually went and asked the director myself personally that I want to come to her school. And at the time there was no space, but my fortune happened because there was a girl who was leaving the center, and I think she went off and got married and so on. And I was this kid in the center who could barely speak any English at all. But I thrive. I worked really hard because I wanted to be like everyone else. And I would always ask my brother for help in class and so on. I still remember today that the very first test I took, I got 48 out of 80, and I was able to pass. But some other student who already attended the class didn't pass it. So I feel really proud of myself despite making, just 8 points above that passing benchmark. And I just, my motivation was always to keep going, to be better than my brother. He's one of my big inspiration to today. And I had the NGO work. It's a boarding school. You live and you study there. They send you to a private or public school for academic, and depend on how much academic achievement you receive, they send you to a better school each time. So I end up being in this really fancy school. The school wise is not that pretty, but very expensive. The teacher were more like caring, but everything else, I think it's like typical, like my way of teaching methodology is very much the same, but I think it's just like the effort that the school admin put into making sure that you're doing well in school and presenting you opportunity and so on. And so one of the opportunity that was passed to us was this scholarship to go to Singapore, United World College of Southeast Asia. And I actually applied to that program the year before, but I never got a call back, and I was really upset. And the other girl in the center I was at was able to attend, but she didn't make it through. And I went back and forth thinking, like, should I really wasted my time filling out the application? This is a lot of time. But I told myself to do it because it's all the sake for experience. I think a part of me was more like scared of the fact that I'm not going to make it. There's so many people. This entire country, there's only 4 scholarships. And but I did it anyway, and I did not tell anyone, not my families, not my friends, not my sibling, nobody except my friend in school, because we had an application and so on. And the very first, I make it to the first round. I think I'm not sure how they select the first round student, to be honest. I cannot even remember the application I put in, but I remember entire like selection process. And so the first round, the teacher almost turned me down because I didn't have my birth certificate. It's a very minimum. It's a basic. The very first requirement is that you meet the age group, and it's like I have my student ID right here, and I almost cry. That's all I remember. He turned out to be a very nice guy anyway, and and it was really overwhelming day. It was like a lot of parents, a lot of students in this, in Panyasas school and around Angkor, BKK. And I was starting to really lose hope that I was like, oh my God, this is way too many kids. I'm not gonna make it. And just to remind you, there are 3 examination centers, one in the city, one in both sides, one in Mandiminjay, I believe. So they only select 30 students to the second round. And so what my chances, if the odd is not, it's pretty against me. And but I make it to the second round. I was like really surprised. But the first round, it's purely academic. It's you have to meet their, like, they select the top 30 best performer in math and English. And then the second round, they do English, Khmer, and math again. And it's very essay based. And they also have a teamwork, so they observe you as how you are as a person. And everyone else who made to the second round, I've learned that they have gone through this process before. They understand how the system works, how what to expect and so on. Or they have friends who have received this scholarship or know people in the community and so on. I didn't know anything. I don't even know what to expect. And I was young. I was like 13. I was only 13, and I was put into this group, and the student didn't quite care of how we were doing as a group. I was so like frustrated because I really want to make it through the next round now that I make it this far. And we also had an interview, which I almost broke down. And also eventually I make to the third round, and that's when I told my mom, because I had to bring my parents along. I think I would not even have told them if I didn't have to bring them to the third round, because I was nervous. I didn't want any pressure. I want to go through this as myself. Anyway, so that's me. And so I went to Singapore United World College in 2013. I was there until 2018. That's when I graduated, finished my international baccalaureate diploma. And Singapore was the transformation experience, really transformative experience. I find out who I learned a lot, and it's just everything, technical stuff, but also finding out my passions, discovering myself and what I'm truly passionate about, very much my identity. And I went on to go to United States right now, but my first place in mind was actually to go to Australia because I knew I wanted to do economics and law. It's kind of my passion growing up. I think it's mainly because one of my mentors is very influential, and he's in that field of law, but not economics. But yeah, sorry, that was a long story. I hope you guys enjoy that. And so to today, it's very much about scholarship. Like, how did I kind of got it, and like what's the process like? Sorry, I think that slide might take a few minutes. It's just updated through Zoom. And so the very first thing is to search, right? The very first time I saw that scholarship to United World College was through internet. There's so much of it information right now on like network, social media networks like Facebook, but also Google. Like Google has everything at your fingertip. You know, embassy, like the United States Embassy has that she can application scholarship, but I think you have to be a little older. And really talking to your network, your teacher might have gone through this before. So ask them about their experience, whether they applied to, what was like. I think some of the teacher that I have had in the center in New Day, Cambodia, was with the one who actually introduced me to this concept of like scholarship going abroad. And it really taught me to like dream bigger as well. And the second thing is to apply. Like, look at deadline. Don't miss deadline. One of my friends did not even put it in the first application. And I think she's still today pretty upset about it. She's not in the US. Her dad is American, and she's pursuing her master's degree here. But that's all to say is, you know, you have to like meet that kind of the very basic thing. I think apply way ahead. And so in like by 2 weeks, you don't hear back, give them a call, go out to them, do all this, you know, proactive about those kind of things, and also have backup plans too. Don't simply rely on like, you know, I mean, in middle school, I think there probably barely any scholarship. There are probably two I could think of. One is United World College, one is ASEAN scholarship. ASEAN, you have to pay a little bit. It's not entirely like 100% scholarship, and very purely academic as well. And I have a few friends actually gone through it. Great experience right in Singapore as well. But when you're like older, when you're applying to college, you have to apply to more than one. That's for sure. Like, there's so many colleges in the world. It's overwhelming. Like, even in the US itself, it's so much. Like, even for me, applying to the US is like a pretty hard process. You have to do things like ACT, SAT, IELTS or TOEFL. You need to prove your level of English proficiency. ACT and SAT, it's very much about like assessing your way of thinking and like how fast can you like process abstract idea and things, so on. So those, you know, really like is the US the right option for you? Can you like meet that basic requirement, like get the SAT and the ACT in? But also talk to the school, maybe they can, you know, waiver that and apply to Australia, England. And but so also there's so many like scholarship route. It's crazy, it's way too many. And if you don't make it in your undergrad year, undergrad being your bachelor, you know, year 1 to year 4, then think about your master, your postgrad study. You can still have that opportunity. So don't like lose hope just because you've gotten some rejection already. I think rejection is always a good like reminder that you need to work harder, and there's people smarter than you. You know, there's something's gonna be always bigger than you. And last thing is prep. I didn't do that clearly very much for United World College. I went into it completely as a stranger, and I think so. I had a very different experience from most students, I guess. It was all like, I feel like to me it's still like a dream. I remember being interviewed for newspaper. I really didn't think I would make it that far, and even my parents was just so shocked, like, what? And so understand how the process works. What is it like? What kind of things you'll be tested on? Talk to people who have gone through it before, or just ask, you know, on Facebook, there's always an admin page, so you can always message them too. So just do this kind of little things as well. Okay, so the next thing I talk about is the ideal candidates. I think this is a very subjective take on it, for sure. This is what I think it is, but that's might not be what it is. This is basically from like listening to so many admission school, and I think it's not very different from like how they give out scholarship as well. It's the very first thing is intelligence. Like intelligent is obviously very different. It's intelligent doesn't have to mean you're good at math. It could be you're good at different things. You might be good at science, you might be good at literature, you might be good at music. Those are like intelligence to me. And this ability to like also, be well-rounded, understand multiple discipline, not just being trapped in your own little world. I think that's kind of important. So think of like a scholar, like professor, that's kind of like what they look for really. Passion is just I don't know, just the kind like passion is what is your like bigger things in life, like beside making money. There's got to be something more than that. Authenticity, it's like being who you are. Like it's I think just having conversation with people, you can already tell whether they're really true or they just but some people they say fake it till you make it. Maybe that's true, but authenticity is really when you apply to school to the US, you have to write like supplement essay and personal statement, and that is to allow school to learn about who you are, and that is where you show your authenticity. And even like scholarship interview, that's where this kind of thing have to come out as well. I'm not saying shouldn't be normal, shouldn't be mainstream, but what I'm saying is like try to think of what is unique about yourself, what is different about you, what differentiate you from other people. I think that's important. Like I think of one thing, like at the end of this interview, what do you want them to remember about you? And I think that's important to leave that mark. And the last part is likability. I think when you're about to go live in a different culture, different setting, it's very important that you can fit in, and people who are likable can fit in anywhere. So if the people interviewing you don't like you, then the mission people are probably the nicest, friendliest people, because I always wanted you to come to your school. If they don't like you, then like their worry is more about like you not fitting in and not enjoying this whole different world. In the US it's a whole different world. I live in Singapore, but here it's still overwhelmingly different experience. So kind of like the last word for me is I think what you can do right now is be proactive, that are expanding your network, looking for opportunity, hunting down those like scholarship opportunity, keeping track, doing all of those things. It's what you can do right now, and that's what you should keep doing, and like keep learning, expanding your knowledge. Is just stay active, be useful in some way to yourself. It's always a productive thing to do. So be hopeful. I think this is the one phrase that I've been getting a lot from my advisor in college this year. Just with the whole job hunting in the US, it's not easy because I'm an international student. The company would have to pay me significantly more and pay for a visa for me to stay in the US as well. And I've gotten rejection. I've gotten not have heard back and so on. But I think but despite that, it's important for me to stay hopeful, and like us all stay hopeful as well, especially in this like kind of very uncertain time with the pandemic and so on. There's always life will work out in some way. That's what she likes to say to me a lot. And last thing is be something. A lot of time people think you have to go to college to be successful, to be meaningful in life, to be useful in this lifetime. But I don't think that's true. You could be anything you want to be in this world. You don't have to go to college. College is not all the path for everyone, but if that's what you want to do, then you definitely, go for it for sure. I'm not saying don't pursue college. I think college is a fantastic experience. You learn a lot of things, transferable skill. You could be, dream. It's one place for you to be safe, to fail and like dream bigger. That's I love college for sure. But you also try to, right now, try to be something meaningful in your community, in your school, at home, whatever. It's give life a little meaning. This is my favorite quote. Education is the most powerful weapons which you can use to change the world. And I think I always been very inspired by that. Since younger, I wanted to be a lawyer, and that sort of change. I think going to Singapore and seeing how two places so close. I mean, it's an hour 45 minutes by plane. That's, to me, it's pretty close, geographically. And we're such two different country. And that's why, like, there gotta be something about it that make us two countries so different. And I think it's all come down to like so understanding society and education in Singapore. I don't know if you're familiar with the system, but everyone in the country have to go to school. Like all the kids, they keep track of every children in the school, make sure they go to school. And I think it's all come down to that. It's that I always believe that the more education I get, it's the greater opportunity I have in making the world the way I want it to be for myself and future generation and so on. Yeah. So it's from me. So you guys can ask questions if you wish to.
All right, so you're done presenting the topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got a lot of time.
Quiet then. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Because the kids want how many questions. So everybody, if you have any questions, drop in the chat box. So the presenter or the guest speaker will answer it directly.
Yeah. Or if it's easier to like speak up, I wouldn't mind as well.
Okay.
You want to?
Okay. Yeah. If you have any question, you can unmute and ask directly. And if you don't want to ask directly, you can chat. You can just type in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. While waiting for the question, I have a sentence that I love the most from you. You said that the rejection is a thing that to tell you need to work harder, right? That's it. I love it. Yeah, rejection or failure remind you to work harder.
Yeah, it's true. When I was in my junior year, I applied to this internship at Charles Schwab, which is a wealth management firm, and I thought I had a really good chance. I know a VP there. I talked to a recruiter, and she was trying to really do her best to have me, but I didn't get in because there was like only 15 slot or something for the year. It's ridiculous. And that's when I'm like, you know what? It's just Charles Schwab. I could do something better than like making money for the rich people. So yeah.
Okay, and another one I love, like when you said fake it until you make it, or fake it until you feel it. Yeah.
Okay.
I use that one too. I use that sentence to change myself. Like before, I'm not who I am right now, so I try to change myself, and I use that sentence like, take it until I feel it. Take it until I make it.
Yeah, but let's best case it's not fake it, because sometimes you can get caught.
Sure, but at least we do it for the good, like for our own good. Yeah, for the other too. So everybody, please drop the question, or you can unmute right away and ask as well. Do you have any question, everybody? Like for the teacher that have the student joining from the class, you can also ask us as well. Like teacher Kumlan, teacher Saymit, you have the student from the class, right? So if the student have any question, you can drop in the box. Okay, we have one question from like Samsapani. I think he's Manila, right? Are you from Cambodia before you go to USA?
I grew up in Cambodia, born and raised there. Then I went to school in Singapore for 5 years, and after that I pretty much like came to the US. I mean, I took 2 months off for the summer break, and I come over here for college. So yeah. I haven't lived home at all. Like actually looking back, half of my life is in boarding school.
All right. So you finished your high school in Singapore,
Yeah.
and then to continue your college in USA, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Any question, everyone?
I guess something sorry. Go ahead.
With that.
I'm Heng Lai and I'm from Singapore, and I have a question and I hope that you can help me. I never show off myself on social media about some extracurriculum that I participated. So is it okay for the National Committee to accept my application for the first stage?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch it. You say show up something on social media.
You mean like you see the scholarship, on social media and you want to apply it? Is that the question? I'm sorry.
So I am not very active on Facebook myself, and if I post stuff, I'm very kind of cautious about it because people can remember it forever, and that's kind of like impression you make on them. I am not a part of the National Committee. I've gone through a few National Committee event where during the selection process where I with the student doing game teamwork and so on, but I've never actually actively make decision. Maybe once I said it in the second round. That's when but the very first stage, I am actually not sure if they look at this kind of thing. They look at what you do on Facebook, but I mean like things like showing up. I'm not sure what you mean by showing up yourself. If it's like a positive thing, maybe you talk about like your experience at some event, I think that's fine. But anything that is seen as like not appropriate, like showing up drinking or like smoking, things like that, I think those are the things you want to leave off Facebook, because in the future, whether you're applying for scholarship or applying for job, it's just not a good reflection of yourself, I think. And but that's me speaking as a very private person. I don't post anything there. But again, I am not sure if they look at this kind of thing. I think they probably just look at your just your application. Yeah.
Okay. I think I got this question now by the explanation from Sreylin. Okay, good. So yeah, all right. If you have social media, you have to show what you have, like the good thing. Yeah, like Sreylin say that, like smoking, like drinking beer. Maybe they also consider that because it show your attitude, right? Show your character.
Yeah, I mean like if they look you up, then like potentially, but this thing that like not see that's like this is a very politically speaking, it's not as cool, then like you shouldn't put it up. Yeah. So there's a question for me. I heard, okay, what is the process of joining high school? So after I got the scholarship, I still had to like fill out a few applications as well for the school. It was a long process. And because the scholarship is 5 year, I was actually supposed to go into like grade 10 actually. I've never taken a combined national exam. I skipped grade 6. My year for the grade 9 exam, it got postponed because of election. And one of my teachers said, you should come back and do it. Like, nope, absolutely not. And so the process is kind of like, you get the scholarship and then you apply directly to the school. There are 2 campuses in Singapore for United World College. There's Dover and East Campus. Dover is more into like university town, I would say, and East Campus is closer to the airport. And so yeah, so like I said, you got the scholarship and then you apply directly to the school, and in the school they really help you a lot to like settle in, make sure you're caught up in school with like the English and provide you all those like mentor help. Kind of fitting in the culture can be pretty stressful. Like so today I told my friend I'm pretty uncultural from like a Western point of view, and I don't try to be too much cultural about it as well. I'm fine. So like, you know, what TV show you grew up watching and things like that, people have this kind of thing in common. I really don't, and I really didn't care, because I like, you know, I'm really here for school and like doing other things. But I was very involved in the school in different aspects. I was one of the chair of Tabitha. I don't know, you heard of that organization in Cambodia. We raise a lot of money for them annually. Anything from like 100 grand, it's like $1,000 Singapore or more for the organizations. And those are the things I'm really passionate about, is giving back to communities whenever I can, in any way I can. And so I volunteer a lot of hours after school to like raise those money from parents. We had a lot of rich parents. And also was very involved in like rainforest restorations, like planting trees on school as well. So that's what like my school life is kind of like. I know it's more than your question, but just give an idea of what it's like. But they have you through that after you get the scholarship. Yeah.
Right. So I think the one who questioned, or the one who asked the question get the answer right, right?
Yeah, is there anything more I can touch on that? Is there anything unclear?
Okay, anything else? Like any question?
Do we have a grade 12 student in this call right now?
I'm not sure, but sure, maybe we have some student in grade 10, 11, or I'm not sure about 12.
Okay. Because I know that then they have 2 scholarship for Cambodia, which is a 5 years, and a 2 years. So 2 years completing grade 11 and 12, I believe. But it's not in. There was one time it was in Singapore, one or twice, but usually it's somewhere else in the world, like in Europe, usually Italy or Wales or Norway, I think. A few in Thailand as well, actually, Japan. It's also one school in the US and one in Canada. But I think usually like the 2 year go to Europe. I have no idea how they allocate this kind of fund. But if you are in like grade 10, 11, that's an option you could look into. I think you're probably too old for like the 5 year scholarship now.
And okay, let me ask. I don't think there's any question, but I want to ask like, is it fully fun that they support everything?
Sorry?
I mean, that scholarship to United World College, is it fully funded?
Yeah, so the 5 year scholarship is fully funded. The 2 year, I think there's not always 100% funded. Like I said, it's a very bureaucratic thing. I'm not sure how like they allocate this kind of fund. Not all the country get the same kind of scholarship, the same kind of money. They have different national committee and so on. But yeah.
Okay, and what subjects should the student master to pass the United World College? I mean, the subject they should learn, they should prepare for the examination.
So my year, we had to do English, math, and Khmer. This first round is purely math. Yeah. So the first round was purely English and math. I think the math you could choose to do in Khmer if you want. I think I chose to do in English. It was just easier to understand. And it was translation. It was like, I feel really off. And then the second round, that's when we had to write an essay in Khmer, I believe. Khmer is actually not my strongest subject. And when I was in UWC in grade 11 and 12, no, actually 9 to 12, I had to do self-taught. And a lot of it's very much purely writing essay, but we don't read Khmer book always. We sometimes read like translated work from Japanese or German, and having to write about those things in Khmer was, oh my god, it's horrendous. It's really too hard. But I really work hard. Like we had a tutor who's based in Khmer, and she would always comment on like how much harder I need to work, and I would work hard. But okay, I did get a perfect score on the IB exam, but it was really hard. I think by the end of high school, I was just so relieved that I don't have to write Khmer anymore. It was just too hard. I think I'm just spoiled now that I understand English. I can use it professionally. I just like if I don't have to write Khmer, I don't want to write it. It's just so hard. I still keep myself like in it. I read in Khmer and write as well. But yeah. And they do interview as well. So I don't even think the math is that hard, to be honest. I'm not a math geek. Just so you know, like my friend when they're like super genius. I am not like even that crazy smart in math, but I could get by. Like, I wouldn't say I'm dumb as well, but but like I'm not like a math genius or anything. I'm not sure how like the grade 12 the 2-year scholarship process look like what kind of like hard the questions are. But I know that there was a year that 2 of their CPM were like national scholar, like, you know, like it's a something like that. Yeah, one of my cousin, yeah, one of my distant cousin got it, and he's like a math genius. And one of the girl who got the 2-year scholarship and ended up being the same score as me. She was that strong in English, but she was a physics like nationalist, like champion or something like that. So like find your niche and like really bring that out in like interview process. I think that will really help you. Too much in more detail how to get a scholarship. So the very first thing you need to do is apply. Like you gotta apply. And like I said, I'm not really sure how they select the very first round because they get a lot of application, and there's a limit in like obviously like the seating and so on. It's not online. At least in my year, it was all in person. Just like cheating. Why? I don't think they trust my students to take exam from home. To be honest, I've never cheated in my life. Like in ICS, there's one year that cheating was so bad. They make us sit in this big conference hall, and like a step away from each other, like you would see in movie. That was kind of like the sitting schooling I am used to. Also, I was just like always scared of everything, and it's not a moral thing to do. Just to know, you know, in like school, like Singapore, like the US, if you got cheating, you like automatically fail. They don't just give you 0 point for that test. Like it's really like in like here, you get caught cheating, you take away your degree. So that's saying you won't graduate. So it's a really big thing. I know Cambodia don't like treat it like that, but just so you're like aware of this kind of thing. So yeah, so you should look up on like Sabai News. I think they posted on there, also on Facebook page. They post about like the scholarship to UWC. And like I say, if you don't fit in that category, like look at the ASEAN scholarship. It's pretty good. Like going to Singapore school Singapore school are really great. Like I said, I have a friend who gone through it and he had wonderful experience. And just be who you are in the exam. I think you shouldn't stress at all. Like I really didn't stress. I was just enjoying myself through the process and really just embrace who I am and like sharing who I am with them. And I think that's what they want to see. It's like the true you, not who you try to be. So yeah.
All right, thank you. And then any more questions? I think I have one more.
Yeah.
I think MC asked too much, right? Oh yeah. I'm curious about your English. So you were good at English when you were in Cambodia, or you improved yourself in Singapore?
I think in Cambodia was okay. Really, my friends in ICS had really good pronunciation. I was not really close to that. I remember writing essay and would always use words I would only know, or like not, words I'm not too sure about to complicated, I would never use it. And so it's been a process. I mean, I've lived in Singapore for 5 years. I've gone through that kind of schooling environment for a long time. People say you should watch like YouTube and Netflix and like you can improve your English. I was actually never into it. I'm not a big Netflix binge person. It's just so many hours. I get distracted by it. And but I like to read a lot. I like to listen to podcasts occasionally. Also have friends who would always correct my any mispronunciation. But I read a lot too. I think reading helps a lot with writing. Might not be with speaking, but with writing. And sometimes writing might be more important than like speaking, quite honestly, because most of your classes are conducted, like examination are conducted in words, like read and form. Not, I mean, sometimes you get overall exam, but just being able to write well, you will eventually be able to like speak well as well. What else do you do? But yeah, I'm always like, I think I had a lot of privilege. Just so I should acknowledge that I'm very lucky. When I was living in the center, we always had foreigner volunteer, and I would always talk to them so much. Like all the kids would always say, you always like talk to all of this teacher who nobody liked, and like I just like talking to them. I will learn something from them. And we had one teacher called Jessica, and she would always eat raw vegetable, and everyone was so amazed by it. But she is such a great writer. She would always correct your grammar, and I loved it. I was obsessed with grammar for quite a bit. And having good grammar is important. Nobody can understand what you're trying to communicate when you cannot like write in the formal way. English is very different from Khmer. Khmer, you can say you use man and everything is past tense. English is very different, as you already know, and it can be pretty hard, challenging at first. So when you learn all this grammar form and then you read, eventually you're starting to see the pattern and how it's actually apply, and that would really help with your like speaking and writing. This at least from like my experience personally.
Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you also say that reading and practicing speaking a lot help you improve your English,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
As a student, be brave, don't be shy. Just keep reading, keep speaking. Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah.
If you know it and you never let it out, how can you improve it? How can you know like you pronounce it right or not? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The students, do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
It seems that the student like to stare at the beautiful Jessica. They forget to ask the question.
I'm trying to think of if there's any other like important thing. Oh, there's a question.
Okay.
What are we going to do in the second round?
The second round, it's so that is like the top 30 student, and there's still more like sitting exam you have to do. At least my year, they changed it. I heard they have changed it, but I'm not too sure how it is. Like I said, I'm not very involved with it now that I'm in the US. It's a significant time difference. It's like 12 hours different from Singapore. And I remember I did my essay, English essay, and math, and then I would put into like teamwork and do like team activities and things like that, challenges, just to see how you work with other people, how you think. That's what they really want to learn about you. And there's an interview in the second round as well. So that's what happened. It's very different for me from like applying to college in the US though. College in the US is purely either just interview and your personal statement, your essay, your academic report. That's all they care about really here. Yeah.
Can you give us some tips for the second round?
Okay, sorry, what? Tip?
Give us some tips for the second round.
Like I said, just like be who you are, really. Just be comfortable. Just really have a good time. That's what you should be. Like be out there, talk to other people, make friends. don't think of them as just like competitor rival. Think of them as like other students who have ambition just like you and want to go and study abroad as well. So if you won't make it, at least you make a friend. I think that's important. And just don't be lazy as well. Like when they put you into all this activity, they thought a lot about it. So be proactive in taking, like, in participating, show your true interest and not like slacking up. I know the day as well. It's like from the morning until 5 or something. It's a long day. Everyone get exhausted, but yeah, like stay focused and like stay energized for the day. Like the night before, have a good night's sleep. Don't stress about it. And yeah, that's all I have. And maybe like for the essay, like prep beforehand, I guess, think about what you would want to write, read stuff. I think reading is always helped me with like essay, just to give a better idea. Just get some like, I don't know, inspiration oftentimes. That's what I need to write essay. I would take a while to write essay. I always think essay of like something to impress and don't like write it, just say writing it, like just write it to also show your like personal side of things, your personal take on things. That's what they want to hear in your essay. Yeah.
Okay, any other question? So about the essay, what kind of topic it is? It was that you took the exam.
I think my year was like social problem. They had a few prompts for us on the board. I think 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly. I think I wrote about traffic. Something about like the traffic in Cambodia. I think that's what I did. Oh my god, it's so long ago. I remember like the interview process quite a bit. They really like try to get to know you and like ask you about your families, what's your day look like, what's your dreams, and like what you want to be, who's your inspiration, and kind of thing. It's a kind of really basic thing. Think of like just, I mean, they're gonna give you this, I don't know how much money. It's a great amount of money for you to go to school, so they will definitely like grill you. And just so you know, the interview happens second round, also third round. There's a lot of interview. At least for my year, that's what it happened. That's how it was like taking place. So they really want to be sure they're picking the right person, the person with the inspiration, the drive to like succeed, the also like ambition to like not just for themselves but for like greater good. That's what they really want to see. Like obviously if this is just to give you opportunities so you get rich and live well on your own, they probably wouldn't want to see that. They want to say something different. But yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so any other questions, everybody? We have 5 more minutes for the question. Yeah, I heard from someone that he or she wants to ask a question.
Okay.
Am I right?
If later you guys want me to ask a question, your teacher should have my contact, my email address. It's probably the best way to reach out. So yeah, I know sometimes speaking up can be scary, but I think it's a good thing to have, to be brave. Don't be scared to be judged. I think like Maya has this like, I don't want to lose my face kind of thing, thinking, but that's not like a very productive way of thinking. I think you should be brave to ask questions in classes. It's just, you don't have to be the smartest one always. Just, yeah, if you're curious, just ask questions in whatever setting, as long as it's like in appropriate time.
So it's okay. I will drop your contact like email in the group as well because we have a group for every week. Like yeah, for bi-weekly ESL talk, we have a group. So I can drop your contact or any resource that you want to share, I can drop it there. Just send it to me by email. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a question for me. What you write about in your personal statement? I'm not sure what I wrote, to be honest, for this 5-year scholarship, but for the one coming to the US, I very much talk about like my inspiration and like why I want to learn to go to college and like what I want to do with it. So it was a lot to do with my mom. Like I think my mom has always been my inspiration for me to work harder. I think I always feel like I dream for not just me, but like for more. And so women's and girl has a big place in my heart. So I think that's what I wrote about in my personal statement coming to the US. Yeah.
I've got a question. Apparently, not only you, but also your younger brother got a scholarship to study in Thailand. So what would be your recommendation? Just maybe, let's say, only 3 recommendations that our students should bear in mind when they want to get a scholarship to study abroad.
Yeah. I don't know. One is think of like what you want to study, and then figure out where you can go to study. It's not always. I think it's easier to like easier to go to certain places than other places. Like the US is pretty hard to get in, to be honest. It's a very much more rigorous system. It's because it's academically more demanding. English, why you need to have a really good proficiency of English. You need to have a good familiar with like, if you're gonna study science, you need to show that you've done like scientific research, like familiar in the lab and so on. So that way it's like, think of, what you want to study, where can you go to study? It's kind of important. But that doesn't mean you should not aim for the top, I was thinking it's like, I think networking is kind of important. I think my brother, that's kind of like how he got a scholarship, was really being proactive and like talking to them, like admissions, email them. And he worked hard too in like his national exam. And that's the kind of thing like you want to show. It's like your kind of academic achievement. Even if right now you can say in grade 8 and 9, you're not doing so well, but that might change 2 years. And that's okay. You don't have to be good right now, but you have to get good. That's just important. Like you improve as a person. They, I'm not saying like people who are already good is boring, but I'm saying it's like, just because you're hasn't been good doing that well for the last 4 years doesn't mean you're like a good candidate. As long as you have improved over the year, if you worked hard, that I think you should be proud of yourself, and that is a good like achievement to show to wherever you're like applying to. So that's would be my 3 ones. First one is, really figure out what you want to study is important and where can you apply to study to go. Second one is like networking, just expanding your network, friends, talk to teacher about their experience, what they apply to, learn about all those kind of things. And then like the last one, it's just embrace yourself, show that, keep up your academic work and get better. It's important.
So okay, so all right, the time is up for the presentation and so also Q&A session. Okay, thanks so much, Sreylin, for sharing your experience with us today. Okay, and we can like stop sharing the screen because as an appreciation, we also have something for you. So this is a hand over the certificate of appreciation. Okay, a student say, how can I contact you? All right, I'm going to drop her contact in the group bi-weekly ESL talk. Okay. All right. All right, I hope you can see the screen here. Can you see that? Sure, because Celine, we are like joining your presentation through Zoom, so we're going to hand over the letter of appreciation through Zoom as well. I hope you don't mind that, and I have just a small appreciation letter for you. Wait a little bit. All right, you see that clearly, right? Let's start. Thanks so much. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. I was impressed. I found some photo of him like, oh, I know where that come from.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask you directly, but I got it from Facebook. Like, yeah, your Facebook.
See, this is why I said, guys, don't post too many.
Yeah, we really appreciate you for sharing your experience with us, and hope that students who join today can get the ideas, they get the inspiration from her to apply for the scholarship, whether it's United World College or yeah, after you graduate from high school. Okay, so Posey, have more question? What is that, Posey? That's cool.
I don't know. But a few of my friends have gotten this scholarship. Like, I'm very active in sport actually. One was a softball player. I think one was a soccer player. So the school itself, just so you know, like this is what like a really expensive school look like. It's academic, sport, and like service work go hand in hand. They really want you to be like physically active, but it's about fostering teamwork and like leadership skill and sport as well. And so yeah, it's something you can bring about to show how like you're very involved in like your community, and like you also have like a side interest and passion beside academic. I think it's not something to be ashamed of. That's what I want to bring out. So yeah, a lot of my friends were like really, really good sport people in the school. They compete internationally, like in Thailand and Australia. Is it something they were asked in the interview? I'm not sure, but you know, if they might ask you about your interest, so it's something you can bring out as well. But we don't do like sport teamwork, anything during the process. So
yeah, so it focused on academic, right?
Yeah, pretty rigorous in the academic, because I mean you're to go to school mainly for academic purposes.
Yeah, so thanks so much for your time, Sreylin, and everybody please sit down first. I see some students stand up and are ready to go, but please turn on your camera and put the heart sticker. I'm going to take a picture. Okay, yeah. If you cannot find the heart sticker, you can use your hand to make a small heart with your finger. All right, are you ready? Please turn on your camera first so I can capture the picture. All right, are you ready? Yeah, please put on the hot speaker. Oh, sorry, speaker. Okay, I'm going to start. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more, please. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thanks so much, Sreylin. Thanks so much for the participation that you have. You have joined us in first week, second week, until 6th week, and the student had joined for 6 weeks and have written the reflection paper will get the certificate as well. So everybody don't forget to write a reflection and send it to your teacher. Okay, for non-AIA students, please send it to me directly. Okay, thanks so much. Thanks, Sreylin.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah,
thank
really
Thank
great to have
you
with
for
us.
your big
Okay.
contribution to our school and our student. Have a good day in the
Okay,
US.
bye. Have a good day.
You
and
too.
good
Good Friday
night.
night.
Thank you.
Goodbye, teacher.
Yeah, goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Teacher.
Nika. Nika.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye, Yulin.
Bye, teacher.
You're here. Bye bye, Tây.
Goodbye, teacher.
Bye bye, Lit. Thanks for saying for joining late. Bye bye.